Tonight, things are moving across the country, and one of the things moving across the country is a stimulus bill. It's landing in Florida in Mar-a-Lago. The question is whether the president will sign it, and the question is whether anyone wants him to sign it, and who wants him to sign it. Nancy Pelosi and the Republicans have mixed messaging across the board. There's a $2,000 stimulus check at issue, but it's not in the bill. The question is how will it get into the bill, and how will the things that are not supposed to be in the bill be removed. Meantime, what's going on with the January bill? Is anyone already preparing to write the January bill? That's the big third stimulus. That needs to start being written now because we're only about 3 weeks away from the massive third stimulus bill that's supposed to have the MSC, the hazard pay, the $2,400 of SSI and SSDI. A lot has to be done in the next few days. The question is anyone really doing the correct thing at the right time? I'm going to get you refocused. I'm going to get you going forward. We're going to have all the details in this breaking news tonight on a Christmas day of holidays decor. No, we've already done the holidays decor. Of evenings LALATE. Hey, good evening, everybody. It's Evenings LALATE, and it's Christmas Day evening, if there's such a word. I'm here, you are here, and thank you for joining us on the 8th month anniversary of this channel. Can you imagine this channel's 8 months old? I have not missed a day of recording. I've not missed a day of Evenings LALATE ever, and I really appreciate being a part of your family and allowing me to be a part of mine as well. With that, please subscribe to this channel because no one's getting you money around the clock. No one's fighting to get you money. No one's fighting to change the nature of what's at issue. This channel singularly got stimulus checks into the second stimulus package, and now we're trying to get the right stimulus check and the right deal done quickly as third stimulus, MSC, hazard pay, $2,400, is being teed up in January. If you've not subscribed, please subscribe. Go to the Fun channel, hit that subscribe button and also the alert button. Meantime, like this video. It really helps in the algorithm rankings. In tonight's video, I'm going to go over what's on the president's table, what could be on the president's table on Monday, what could be on the president's table on Tuesday, and I'll have you a clarity about the strange words and dichotomies that have been coming out of Nancy Pelosi's mouth that may have confused you in the last few days. She's using confusing words. Is she doing it on purpose? Answer yes. And with that, let's get to the breaking news. The breaking news as you sit here today is there is still only one bill for a stimulus check, and that's a $600 stimulus check. It's on the president's table. It has a lot of great stuff in there and a couple things missing. It's missing mortgage forbearance, it's missing stimulus checks for adult dependents, and it's missing MSC and retro FPUC. But the FPUC retro and the MSC is going to be taken care of in third stimulus. And the mortgage forbearance also will be taken by Joe Biden on day one by executive order. So the only thing that is missing that really should have been in there is adult dependence. But what's in there that should not be in there? That's very clear. It's the $8 billion for foreign governments. It's not aid. It's actually just for foreign governments for uses that people just don't like. No one likes this in there. It should never have been in there. This is a stimulus bill for emergency relief during the pandemic. It was the idea of this channel. This channel got this issue going, and then suddenly people sort of took the issue and ran wild with it, doing the problem creators bill, which had no stimulus checks in there, and then finally at the 11th hour sliding in this federal aid to federal countries, $8 billion. And it didn't stop there. The second item at issue is a $1 billion bail allotment to paint walls of the Smithsonian Institute Museum in Washington, D.C. Crazy? It is crazy. The two items should not be in there. But is this enough to go to the mat over a $2,000 stimulus check? Well, this is not the first, not the second, but the third time this has happened with Nancy Pelosi. It seems like it's a running gag to slide pork into bills and to act like it's not there. And then when you try to get it taken out, she says no. Yesterday, The offer of the Republicans was to remove it. Her offer was no. I'm leaving in bailout of foreign governments in an emergency stimulus bill for American people. I'm leaving in there I'm leaving in there $1 billion for to paint the walls at the Washington Museum. Sound familiar? It is familiar. Over the summer, your stimulus checks were held out by a $1 trillion bailout of state and local put into the stimulus package at a time in which they didn't need $1 billion. In fact, to this day, it's been proven they don't need $1 billion. It would have been free money for states and locals for 4 years. Then she took it out. Next thing she slid in was something else. What was that? That was raises for government agencies and government departments. Again, supposed to be in a stimulus bill. That was removed. Now she's back with a new pork slide in. I love a pork slider, but I don't like a pork slider in my stimulus bill. You can use that and put it on a t-shirt. Just came up with it. Pork sliders need to stop sliding into our stimulus bill. Even if it's a side of some slaw. Stop doing the pork sliders left and right, Nancy. Now, the Republicans, they have their own problem. Their own problem is they can't figure out what their problem is. They sometimes support no stimulus, then they support $600 stimulus checks, then they support $2,000 stimulus checks. And all around the board, Mitch McConnell is pandering to 4 different fractions of the Republican Party. It's not a new situation. It's not an old situation. It's been around a while. There's the Ron Johnsons of the world that don't want to give you a stimulus check, and then there's Donald Trump who wants to give you a $2,000 stimulus check. So how do you get something passed in the Senate to get landed in the White House so that the president signs it? Ultimately, Mitch McConnell has a play game at stake, and the play game is 2 Georgia Senate seats in Georgia up for decision on January 5th. Mitch McConnell, by all accounts, should only do this strategy move. This is what I'm recommending, is that Mitch McConnell should do exactly what the president said, take out the 4 items, foreign government, museums, the family issue, and change the $600 to $2,000 stimulus check and call it a day. Call it up for a vote. Put it to a vote on the Senate floor and do exactly what the president, the leader of the Republican Party, asked him to do. And if it dies, it dies. If it approves, it approves. But ultimately, Nancy can't say Mitch didn't do the right thing. He did exactly the right thing. It's Nancy who's not doing the right thing. She's only doing the stimulus check, and she's leaving in foreign aid and bailouts of museums. So, what's happening on Monday and Tuesday? What's happening this weekend? Let me give you a rundown of where we are. The bill has been mailed to the president in Mar-a-Lago. The bill is a $600 bill, $600 stimulus check bill. There has been no amendment to the bill passed, so it stays as it is. The bill is what's called enrolled, meaning the bill has a provision to keep the federal government open till Sunday. On Sunday, the enrollment expires and the federal government shuts down. Doesn't mean you're not going to get a check for your Social Security or anything like that, but the government does shut it down on Sunday. Also on Sunday, your PUA, your PEUC expires. In a few days after that, your eviction moratorium expires. Now, what's happening on Monday? On Monday, Nancy will do a standalone amendment, not bill, but standalone amendment to change the bill that's on the table of the president in Mar-a-Lago to have the stimulus check go from $600 to $2,000. Remember, Nancy Pelosi's tweeting the message, I'm doing a standalone vote on Monday. She's making it sound like she's doing a standalone stimulus check bill on Monday. Is she doing this messaging on purpose? I believe she is. She's trying to make you think she's doing a standalone stimulus check bill on Monday. She's not. She's doing an amendment to the 5,000-page bill that has the foreign aid in her, her pork sliders, has the museum aid in there, her other pork slider, and is doing an amendment to change only the stimulus check. That will pass, that will then go to the Senate, and at that point it will die. It should die. Now, what is going to happen thereafter? Mitch McConnell's ultimately going to have to choose between a lesser of many evils. He should not do nothing, and he also should not do what the Republicans did yesterday, which is only remove the foreign aid and then leave the $600 stimulus check in there. He should do everything the president asked for and let it go for a vote and see if it passes or dies. Ultimately, doing the right thing is the only message to the American people. Let's recap. On Monday, when the bill was debuted to the American people, Two things were trending on Twitter for 24 hours. One, words like Kenya and Cambodia, and two, the number $600. Americans are not happy about a $600 stimulus check. That's item number one. Americans are also furious that money is being given to Kenya and Israel and Cambodia, and the museums, they don't like it. It looks like a darn slush fund. It looks like pork sliders. And so with that, the president said, I'm taking those things out. Well, why doesn't anyone listen to the president? I understand it's a lame duck session. I understand it's a lame duck president. But either you do what the person in charge says he's going to do or don't do it. Will the $600 stimulus check die? Will the $2,000 stimulus check die? There's other options. Mitch McConnell could do a veto override, but there hasn't been a veto yet from the president. Nancy could do a veto override, but there hasn't been a veto from the president. There's a lot of choices to do. And ultimately, no one should sit back and predict what's going to happen. You can't predict what's happening. All you can say is what's the best path. The only and best path is to do exactly what the president said. Remove the 4 items. Do those removal of those 4 items by amendment. It should have been done yesterday. It should have been done the day before, and send it to his table and have it signed. Ironically, had these people, the Republicans and Democrats in the Congress, done exactly what the president said, not today, the 25th, not yesterday, the 24th, but on the 23rd, we would have had a law today. You would have had a law on about the 23rd of December, and you would have been getting a stimulus check around January 3rd. Instead, they're playing partisan games once again. So why is this sort of teeing up confusion? It's teeing up confusion because the third stimulus package is supposed to be worked on right now. There's supposed to be drafts of it. There's supposed to be edits of it. There's supposed to be policy discussions about it. There's supposed to be talk about the amounts. All we're getting is a lot of, I'm not going to tell you until we negotiate. Negotiate? When? 2 days ago, Joe Biden said, I'm going to not tell you this multiple stimulus check amount. I'll wait to leave that for negotiations. Oh, well, when are they negotiating? They're not negotiating now. In fact, they're not even talking to each other. Is Nancy talking to Mitch? No. Is Mitch talking to Chuck? No. Is anyone talking to each other? No. So Joe is talking about not talking about anything until we start talking. Guess what? They're not talking. What are the deal provisions that Joe is going to be doing in a vacuum, apparently, so far? In a vacuum, he's going to be doing hazard pay, $10,000. He's going to be doing SSI and SSDI, $2,400, $200 a month from January to December. He's going to be doing EIDL grants, the remainder of your $10,000 EIDL grants. He's going to be doing multiple stimulus checks. But you can't do this in a vacuum. They're acting in a vacuum now, where one side's on one side of the room and another side's on the other side of the room, and they're just talking in a universal vacuum. It's ironic. I always told you they were called the problem creators, and now the problem creators have a creation. The creation's a problem. The creation was the problem creators created a bill that didn't have a stimulus check in there. And the moment the problem creators, those people that sat on top of Capitol Hill and patted themselves on the back and said, we did a beautiful bill, and here's Mitt Romney, and here's that other guy, I told you there was going to be a problem because there was no stimulus check in there. Had there been a stimulus check in there, we wouldn't have the problem. Also, the problem is Steve Mnuchin again. Steve Mnuchin was the conduit from Nancy Pelosi to call every day during the negotiations. And Steve Mnuchin spoke to the president and always got assurances the president was going to sign the bill. Changed his mind. Now, I can understand the president would change his mind if he saw pork sliders slid in there that wasn't supposed to be in there. But to change your mind on the stimulus check amount, that's not really cool. He told Josh Hawley during the last few weeks he would like a $1,200, $2,000 stimulus check, but he never said, I'm not going to sign it unless there's a $2,000 stimulus check. In fact, Josh Hawley had asked the president to reject the bill, to veto it, if there's no stimulus check in there. Again, if there's no stimulus check in there. Now the president's saying, I'm not going to agree to it unless there's a $2,000 stimulus check in there. Confusion? Yeah. A path to get this done? Oh, yeah, there's a path to get this done. There's a very easy path to get this done. Will Congress see the path of less resistance? They better see it relatively soon. And if they don't see it, you should help them see it. The path of easiest resistance is take all the items that the president wants removed, and we're done. And we have a bill. And the bill provisions otherwise are very good. Let me go over those provisions. PUA and UI will be extended to March 14th. FPUC will be extended to March 14th, $300 a week. The FPUC retroactive issue will be taken care of by Joe Biden in January stimulus. Then you would have rent aid, food aid, childcare aid, free broadband aid, SNAP increase of 15%. Yeah, there's a lot of good stuff in this bill. EIDL for low-income communities, PPP. Oh, and then you can deduct your business meals for 2 years. As you see across the board, there's a lot of stuff that needs to be done, but Congress is not acting rationally, and they're going back to that sort of minutia of where they act irrationally. In the 2 weeks leading up to today, we saw Congress get things done. Ultimately, talking together worked. There was that Sunday where Toomey's language was holding up things. They talked about it. They went through the discussions and they figured it out. There was that other day where they wanted another provision modified and they worked it out and they got it done. Now they're not talking again. Every time they don't talk, things derail. Every time they go in their huddles and corners, things derail. The narrative needs to fix. And the narrative starts with understanding the president is the one who's going to sign the bill. If you want this president to sign this bill this coming week, then do exactly what he says. Or, as he said, he's not going to sign the bill. Does it sound so obvious? It should. Join me next on Purple Power Live. As always, stay informed, stay smiling, and stay LA for more.